Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another exciting, hate-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances, where you come to a channel that can unblock all of the lies that are disguised as truths. This is the place, my people, and this is the place where we can talk about some of the craziest disappearances that happen on this planet, all over the world. You know, it may be next door to you. You never know. And that's what tonight's topic is about. I'm gonna revisit a story that I did back on June 8th of this year. And the reason why is because, like I said, it hits home. I'm here, and it happened here. But I'm just gonna recap, then I'm gonna get into an update. That's pretty much the premise of the entire video. Okay, now going back, this was a story about a young 30-year-old man named Freddie Seth Morgan. Like I said, I posted this video back on June 8th about him because around that time it had just happened. He had just vanished off of the property of his actual job, which is called Zeb Facility, which is also in Emerson, Georgia. Now Morgan, like I said, is described as being 5 feet 11 inches tall, excuse me, with black hair and brown eyes. Now this is around the Cartersville area. He is actually from Cartersville, but he worked in Emerson. That's where he was last seen, which was around May 24th. Now, the premise of this entire video is about the update. I was contacted by a good friend of his that he actually worked with. And he, back when I first was contacted by him, he was telling me about what was going on, and he said that he was out there with the search party looking for him, and they were looking for him every day, and they almost thought that they found him, but it turned out to be a rumor that started at somebody's school. And so I told him to keep me posted on the search and let me know if they ever find him, because at that point he was presumed to still be alive. He just went missing on the property. That's where he was last seen. But nobody would ever think that he was dead or anything. Nobody disliked him enough to kidnap him to try and kill him. So everybody was still hoping and praying that he was still alive at that point. And from that point on up until maybe a couple of weeks later, he hit me up again and kept me posted. I think he said that Freddie's uncle was there, or his uncle was there, his friend. It was something like that, and they said that he had joined a search party, and everybody was still looking, but as of yet they didn't find anything. And I was contacted by him again today while I was at work, and he told me that they found him dead behind a church somewhere. And I was heartbroken because I really was hoping that they would find him alive, because I also did a story about another woman here in Georgia who I said went missing while she was on her way to a jazz festival at Piedmont Park here in Georgia. But when I did the update, I found out, I gotta stop saying that. When I did the update, I'm doing it again. When I did the update, I said that she was found in another town. This was in, I believe, Conyers at a 7-Eleven. I think it was a 7-Eleven. Either 7-Eleven or no, not a 7-Eleven. It was a Dairy Queen. She was at a Dairy Queen. So that was a very good, situation at that point because she was found, she was healthy, and she was safe and all that stuff. But with Freddie, I was really hoping that they would find him. I mean, for him to be gone as long as he was, you would think that he would be able to survive out there for maybe a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, depending on his. I mean, he may be an experienced hiker or experienced camper, who knows? But there aren't too many people I know of here in Georgia that actually camp. So I know that ain't got nothing to do with it. But I just figured I'd throw that in there, But they said they found him dead behind the church. So I was like, okay, he was found dead behind the church. And it reminded me of a documentary that I saw on I think the documentary was about the Highway of Tears, but it was kind of like a news doc. It was a documentary that was put together by the police department in British Columbia, and they pretty much headlined it the entire documentary. And there was some of the police officers was in it because they was involved in the case of finding her, and then all these other people that was disappearing in the area that they called the Highway of Tears. But yeah, in part of that documentary, they said that one of Madison Scott's friends, or somebody that she was dating at the time, they found his head behind a church. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, either they found his head behind the church or they found his body behind the church, but he was headless. But it was one of the two. I'd have to look at it again. But he was, or part of him was found behind the church. So it when they said that, it brought me back to what happened to that young man at that time. And this young man, they said that he owed some drug dealers some money. I think he must have bought some drugs from him or something. I don't know. But they said it had something to do with that. It was pretty crazy. I just know that he was decapitated, and so I don't know if it was his body that was found or his head was found behind the church, but he was found behind the church. So, like I said, when they said that about him, it jarred my memory about what happened in her town. So, and like
in German, they're not heroes. Sie sind nicht hier.
Say what? First of all, I never even touched my phone and that thing activated. It's pretty cool. Creepy, but pretty cool. Yeah, she just activated just like that. That does not happen. That's not how iPhone works. That's not how Siri works. You saw my hand was up here. It was not down there. It was right here. Okay? And then I looked and I'm like, what? It's like I was speaking in German or something. It was weird. Anyway, okay, where was I? I think I was talking about Madison Scott. Because that's, as a matter of fact, that's the whole case that prompted me to look up some more stuff about, her area. And that's when I found out about the Highway of Tears and this young man that was involved with her. So I was like, wow. Anyway, but yeah, it's pretty sad. Like I said, I asked his friend to keep me posted on some more information that may come out about, the composition of the body. Was there any evidence of foul play? Because I would think if he was found behind a church, first of all, what was he doing behind a church in the first place? And how is it that he died? Was he shot to death? Was he stabbed to death? That's what I want to know. I just want to know why. How is it that he disappeared so fast? I mean, for so long, and then all of a sudden, bam, you behind a church dead. That makes no sense. Now, maybe, just maybe, he had some things going on that he didn't tell anybody about, because it wasn't none of their business. And maybe some things got out of hand, because I would think something had to happen to him for him to end up behind a church. Now, if it was just something that randomly happened, he may have tripped, fell on a rock, and busted his head open, and they found him in that area, because that could happen anywhere. You could be walking on a sidewalk and maybe it's covered up with a bunch of leaves. You didn't see the rock, or you walking in the grass, because that's where normally a rock like that would be. It would be in the ground, but it would be like covered up by a bunch of leaves. You didn't see it. Your foot trips, or well, okay, you wouldn't come up to the rock and trip. You would trip over something else, and your head would go bang right into the rock. So if you look at those scenarios, you can tell that obviously something happened. Now that's a random event that could happen anywhere. Okay, this is premeditated because he's behind the church. Why was he behind the church? Let alone dead behind the church. You know, that's a place of safety. You know, for anybody. I forgot what they actually call that, but still, yeah, the church. It's sacred. It's hallowed ground. You know, or holy ground. But either way, still, that's a place where you can come to be safe. And you're behind it dead. So obviously maybe somebody wanted him dead. You know, I don't want to just jump out there with speculation, because I don't even know any information about the case. I don't know anything about what they feel may have happened during what they found in the investigation. You know, and it's gonna go to the coroner's office, and they're gonna come up with their, whatever they felt happened to him. They're gonna find out, because they're gonna be digging in and trying to figure out what was his cause of death. And it would be very strange if they couldn't find nothing, because that happens a lot. Person turns up dead somewhere, and there's no cause of death. But in his case, hopefully, well, I don't say hopefully, but to solve the mystery of, his death, hopefully they'll find something instead of them saying stuff like, well, there's no cause of death. I mean, I wouldn't call that a missing 411 case, but it does sound like somebody had it in for him and they wanted to kill him. That's just how bad, obviously. I would hate to say this turns into a murder, but just by finding out that they found him dead behind the church, you can't help but think like that. Something went down and it was not pretty. Somebody lost their life. Which is terrible. Like I said, I was blown away when I found out about that. So, but that's my take on it. Like I, you know what you get when you come here. You get nothing but the truth. So, even though this is just theory, because we don't know yet, obviously it's at the coroner. His body's at the coroner's office. But I told the guy that contacted me, I said, because he's upset about it. He would love to bring his friend back, and I know we all get like that when we lose somebody. I mean, when I lost my dad, trust me, I wasn't right. I really wasn't. I kind of went off the deep end a little bit in certain areas. Punching walls, throwing things everywhere, ready to punch the first person that pissed me off, whether I was at work or on the street. I wasn't in my right mind at that point. Anybody could have got hurt at that point. That's just how upset I was, because when I first found out that my dad was sick, well, actually, when I found out he was sick, he had pneumonia, but this was way before this even happened. And then years later, I get a call from, well, they will hit me up on Facebook all day, and I rarely get on Facebook. So I finally got a call from my sister-in-law, and she said, "We've been trying to get in touch with you all morning. It's about Carl, my dad." And I was like, "What happened?" He had a heart attack and a stroke. I'm like, "What?" At that point, I did not give a damn about nothing else. I was going to drop whatever I had to drop, get in my car, and drive all the way to my dad in Forsyth, Georgia. Okay? I did not care. I told my mom, oh, no, you know what? Let's see. Yeah. I think what it was, my mom, she called me. Yeah, that's what it was. My mom called me because they were calling her because they were trying to find out where I was because they would hit me up on Facebook all day. You know, so I was like, why didn't you just call my phone? But they called my mom and they were telling her about what happened. She called me saying, we're gonna have to make a trip, to your dad's house, man, because he just had a heart attack and a stroke. I'm like, wait. She said at first she said she didn't know what was going on because I think she didn't know who it was. Yeah, she didn't know who it was that was calling her. And when she finally got on the phone, that's when she found out, And so we got our stuff together, and we drove out there, And I just was on dad mode. I wanted to get to my dad. And I got there, and everything was just falling apart. He was in that bed, and I was looking at him. And he was, I wouldn't even say he was out of brain, but he was saying some things that didn't make any sense. But I understood what he was saying. I get it now, but it was crazy, And then, like I said, my dad passed by the weekend, But I didn't find out until my mom came to my door at my apartment, and she said that, came to tell you that Carl died. I'm like, wait, what? Fuck you talking about? He's gone. I was like, fuck. And the worst part about it was my mom was grinning when she said it, and that really pissed me off because I was like, how the fuck you gonna still come over to me? I'm sorry, I'm getting a little too deep in this because this is about him, and I'm putting it on me, so I apologize. But I got into all this stuff about. That's an emotional thing, so I apologize, But I wanted to share because I relate to that, Of course, they weren't family, but they were close friends, and I was going through the same thing with that, So I could relate, wanting to bring somebody back. That's just how much he cared about them. They were like close friends. Yeah, it's me and my dad. I wanted to bring him back too. Of course, instead of me just saying that, I went into this tangent talking about what happened. But, it was an emotional time, That's a part of me that I'm giving to you because I told you I'm not here to lie. I'm not here to hide anything. I'm here because I'm here to tell you the truth and show you the truth. Me, I wanted to show you who I am. I don't want to be somebody that's just like a character for a video. I want you to see me at all times. So if you get a chance to hear something personal, that's because I chose to do that. Okay, I don't have anything to hide. That's what I'm here to do, tell the truth. So I gave you a piece of my personal thoughts about this whole situation and how I feel about it. I'm very passionate when it comes to stories like this, and I just wanted to show you how passionate I can be talking about my personal situation. I even shared with you about what happened with my grandmother about 2-3 years ago. She was the light of my life. She kept me happy because she was just like, she was that grandmother that all kids just love. She took care of everybody. She took care of my mom, her siblings. She took care of me and my siblings. Okay, 2 generations. She took care of them. Her own kids and then their kids in the same house. I mean, my grandfather was there, but he was the breadwinner, so he was off to work every day. And she worked for she was a housekeeper. So, like Florence. Yeah, exactly. But, still, that was my nana, man. I love that woman to death. She was the best grandmother that any guy could ever have. I love that woman. I mean, for her to be not here, I know what she is now. I know where she is, so that makes me happy. You know, I was upset for a while because she meant so much to me, you know, but I know she's in a better place. And I know Seth is in a better place. So, like I told him, I can relate. You know, somebody that close to you and you lose them, you know, you want to bring them back. You know, I know it doesn't match up to family, but, you know, if you've been friends with someone for a very long time, you meet family too. So, you can become family. You can feel like your family. You know, I got a friend that I look at as a sister, you know, because we're like just real tight. She told me to my face, you know, you're like one of the family. Her daughter's my goddaughter, you know. So there you go. Anyway, guys, I didn't mean to flail off there, you know, but this is, you know, a touching moment because the man has been searched for so long, for 3 months. Okay, it's going into September, and I find out that he passed away by some other means behind a church. So that means there's going to be evidence of some blood there, and whatever kind of wound he has, it could be a knife wound, it could be a bullet wound, you know. And then they could look at the angle of the entry point to see if it was straight ahead or coming from whatever angle. That way they can determine if it was premeditated or homicide. So, you know, because I cannot fathom him doing that to himself. You know, it makes no sense. He was too much of a nice person. You know, and he smiled all the time. You seen the photos? He smiled all the time. You know, every photo he's ever been in, he smiled. He didn't have not one photo that he was never smiling in, even if it came to a certain situation and they just happened to catch him on camera. It was always just cheese up, you know. So yeah, you know, it hits home, man. You know, it's personal moment, and I just felt like I needed to share. So I'm gonna get on off here, guys, because it's getting late. I know you guys are tired. You probably ain't even gonna watch this, but if you do, that's what I do. I bring it. I try my best to bring it. I'm gonna bring it again next time. I'm gonna try to, you know, squeeze the videos together a lot more. You know, try and get them in a little bit. But I've just been so busy, you know, with a lot of stuff. You know, I've been pulled in so many different directions. I just didn't have the time I wanted to have for this. But I am off tomorrow, or today rather. So I got all the time in the world to do what I need to do. So without further ado, guys, I hate to do it, but I got to. You know, y'all got to go to bed, man. I got to watch some more TV because I'm just gonna chill, drink me a little Ciroc. Oh yeah. Maybe do a little what? I ain't gonna say that. But anyway, it's at the end of the video. You know how I do it. I do it at the end of every video, guys. Aloha, mahalo, and ohuiho. Peace out.